Okay, folks, week 88, and today I'm with the chief here, the big chief.
Hey, guys.
And before we get started, I want to go over some of these comments because last week, we were in the heat of the storm. It was my last week at Little Palm, and I finished my last 2 days in Hurricane Elena.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely crazy. It wasn't too bad though. Here, I think the worst we saw was probably 55 miles an hour, and we had sustained winds of somewhere around 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, but the wind never let up.
No, it just stayed on us. And this morning it actually cleared up a little bit.
Yeah.
But one of the comments was, I was showing you guys raw footage out there. Our job is to go out to the island, and we make trips. When we're doing those trips, it's really hard to get footage, because we're only running trips that we have to run. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So only if a guest needs to get on or off the island, or a group of employees, we will not run the boat for one employee when we're in those kind of conditions.
Yeah.
And we don't shut the boats down unless the city shuts it down. If they make a mandatory evacuation, that's when we shut the boats down, and not until then. And that's what we train for. And we actually, for me, it is a huge adrenaline rush when you're out there. I wouldn't say this is the worst storm I've worked. The one before that, when you guys saw me on the Truman, was probably worse than that, because we got our big boat back.
Yeah.
So it was really a nice blessing to have the big boat back, and I enjoyed so much driving that boat. That's the hardest boat that we drive, and we just got brand new 440 horse Yanmar engines in it, and I'll tell you what, we used all the horsepower from those engines.
Yeah, I bet.
There was one time, Chief, and I'm not lying to you, we got back to the dock. It wasn't even yesterday; it was the day before, and we were sitting there, and one of the bands hit us. One of the feeder bands hit us, and the boat, you couldn't turn the boat left, right, nothing. We were just stuck there, in the space. We used all the power, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't do anything. It wasn't responding, and you were like, wow, this is craziness. Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad, and God bless the people. Me and Pete both have been through a few hurricanes. We've actually lived there when we were living in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah.
Or Spanish Florida.
Survivors of Katrina.
Yeah. Chief lost everything in Hurricane Katrina. Everything. He had a pair of underwear and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That was about what he had left after Katrina.
Yeah.
So we know what it's like, and God bless you. And it's for the people that got hit by it. Last night it was beside us, and that we were in the heat of the storm, and then we actually went out to the sandbar to look to see what it was like out there. But then that storm just took off and started moving very, very fast. Yeah. And it actually started calming down as the evening went on and on and on.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week's video, I want to talk about, big or small. Do you buy a big boat or do you buy a small boat? And I got to tell you, throughout the history of my life, I've owned a lot of boats. So has Pete.
Yeah.
And my favorite boats are my small boats. I got to tell you, because it always seemed in life that besides the maneuverability, they were just cheaper to operate. Everything about it was a better scenario. Because I remember you had that big damn deck boat thing. That thing was like 25, 30 feet, just getting it on the trailer and off the trailer. Yeah. Everything changed when you bought that boat. It was like, the boating slowed down a little bit, because it didn't slow down, but you know what I'm saying? It was, to have a bigger truck. Yeah, everything had to be bigger. Yeah. And that's the same thing with a boat. When you're pushing, it's more fuel, it's more everything. Yeah. And then, so when I started America's Great Loop, I think we started it in Loop Princess, which was a 36-foot. Yeah. I can't even remember the brand name, but it's one of those Hershey's. It's the same boat. There's like a ton of them out there, and it was so maneuverable. Getting in and out of the marinas was super easy. Yeah. The one thing that was the big negative about it, was that engine room was so frapping tight. Yeah, it was getting in there to work.
You had to work from the top down.
And then you had to work for mirror and braille on the outside, because it really takes in my opinion, it takes about a 44 45-foot boat to really start getting into an engine room that you can get around completely around the engines.
Yeah.
And so when you guys are out there looking at these trawlers, and I'll talk to a lot of people, and it's all about what you're doing, because when you go big and you start talking about these turbocharged engines, that takes the price of boating to another whole level, because it really is the operating cost on a naturally aspirated engine versus a turbocharged engine. It's about 4 times.
Oh yeah, easily.
Easily 4 times the amount of money. So if the maintenance on a naturally aspirated engine, let's say per engine is $1,500 a year, on a turbocharged engine, it's more than that. I don't think you can maintain them, some of these big engines for under $5,000 a year, which is about $10,000 for your motors. You might be able to, but the boat would have to be in perfect shape, and everything, all the maintenance logs and everything caught up on the engines, which is very rare. But they are out there.
Yeah.
So when you guys are looking at these boats, you got to really know what you're going to do with them, because if you're going to live aboard, that's why I made the conscious decision when I was doing America's Great Loop, and Southern Estate came up. It was almost like the week we were leaving for, if you remember correctly.
I don't remember the timing.
Timing, but we were still in Alabama.
Yeah.
And then Southern Estate came up.
Yeah.
But I knew I was going to live full time on the boat, so that's the sacrifice I made. I said, I'm going to live on this boat for full time, and not that Loop Princess was a bad boat, because it was a great boat for a single guy or even a couple to live on. But even we could have lived on that boat pretty comfortably, actually.
We could have.
Yeah. But there's no real livability, because you got that.
You don't have any private space.
Yeah. Well. Even in that living room, that was, it's built-in furniture. We wouldn't have our chairs. You know what I'm saying? We're sitting on those cushions.
I mean, we made it work, but yeah.
And
Southern State, you can live on that. It's like a little miniature condo.
Yeah, it's almost like being in a 2-bedroom condo. We have a wash machine. Even though we had all this stuff.
Full-size
refrigerator,
kitchen, full-size kitchen.
Almost. It's like having a small condo. It really is, because we each have our own bedrooms. It only has one bathroom, but when you go up into the living room, like Pete's looking at, last year we did a little remodel on it. This year we're going to add the couch. So Pete's been looking for a couch to reconfigure that living room a little bit. We're probably going to remove some of the cabinets that are in there, since we did this air conditioner.
Because of the air conditioner adjustment, we can make it, and we're just going to get a bigger couch, because I'm tired of my feet and my head. But now we can put a full-size couch in there. So
anyway, is bigger better or is smaller better? I mean, I think you really got to sit down. Yeah. You've got to figure out what you're doing with the boat. Yeah. And then you got to, because I say if you're going to loop, 40 feet is about the perfect size for looping. Yeah. One of the problems that we had on America's Great Loop with Southern Estate, especially when we got to the Great Lakes, if you remember this, there were marinas that we couldn't get into.
Yeah, we had to anchor.
Yeah, we had to anchor. The boat was too big. That's where we got boarded by the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
That one, we asked them if we could get a slip in there, and they said, nope, your boat's too big. They had slips, but they were all taken, and they only had like 2 slips for a 50-foot boat. I've heard that in the comments too, that we don't have a 50-foot boat, which is technically a 44 Marine Trader, but it takes a 50-foot slip to put it into.
Because the pulpit on the front and the rear, so it extends 50 feet.
Yeah, it is. If you measured it from the back of the swim deck to the very front of it, its length overall is 50 feet.
She takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, she's a big girl.
She's got a wide back.
But I have absolutely, the decision, naturally aspirated engines, the bigger boat, it's definitely more comfortable. It's easier to get around the engine room. It's but again, it's more expensive to operate because of just the simple thing that the boat has. You got to pay more for your dockage, because every time we pull into a dock, we're not paying for. I'd say Loop Princess was a we had to get it into a 40-foot slip. And there were places that I went, you know, that you're not getting the 50-foot boat into. That 40-foot was the max that you could get in there.
Yeah.
So, and there was a few of those situations that happened, especially on America's Great
And they'll
Loop.
let you hang out a little bit, but they don't let you hang out as that much. So.
Well, I just remember Kaladalsi Island, and I don't know why that's ringing a bell to me, but they had like 4 slips on the end ties. But if they were all taken, there's no big boats in there, you know. And I remember putting Southerners or Loop Princess in there, and it was a tight fit. You know what I'm saying? Like you barely had enough room to get the boat into the marina itself. So anyway, I just wanted to share this video with you. I want you guys to really, you know, especially you guys in the market, you know, that beginner boater, you know, pay attention. You know, bigger isn't always better. You know, getting what you need is probably a better option, and then not concentrating on size. Now, if you're going to live in the boat full time and you plan on doing it for 3 to 5 years,
Size matters.
Size matters, and I would go bigger.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do America's Great Loop, and then you're just selling a boat, I mean, the perfect boat really is that 40 foot.
Yeah, 44 is the Loop Princess. I mean, not Southern State's just a little too big. Now, don't get me wrong, it's doable, but it is actually a little too big for the Loop. But it can do it. We know it can because we did it. So.
Yeah, and then when you're looking at the Loop, draft matters, size matters, air draft matters. I mean, you lose the Erie Canal. If you can't get the boat under 15 feet, you're not doing the Erie Canal because there's a bridge there. And the last couple of times I've been in there, it's under construction. And you can't get under it. It's impossible. So you have to go around. It's not a big deal. But 19.6, I believe, is where you have to be. And then, like I said, then you have to do a few go rounds and stuff like that when you go with these big boats. So you just remember that when you guys are looking at these boats.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys. Peace out. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. I just did a Bahamas video, Chief. It was pretty cool. It was actually a pretty good video, I thought.
Nice.
So anyway, peace out. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Anybody needs help with anything. Yesterday was actually my last day at Little Palm.
Yay! That was a good run, though.
It was.
He got a lot of experience. Let me tell you. Most captains out there, they're fair weather captains. You know, when you're doing that, you learn to drive. You don't get a choice in the weather you drive in, so he's got a lot of experience. Not that you wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to go out in bad weather, but...
Yeah, my big experience would be, don't go out.
Yeah, that would be the first thing, yeah.
But, you know, it's such great, because you learn the current and the tides and all that stuff.
And how the boat's going to react in certain situations.
I would say the equivalent of working that job for 2 years took me probably around 10 to 15 years in experience, because it's thousands of dockings, thousands of hours on the water.
Yeah.
It wasn't just hundreds, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it does make you, I really, after a year of working there is when I really made that connection with what's the current doing, what's the boat doing, what's the pitch, what's the altitude.
When he gets on a boat now, he doesn't even think, can I drive this boat? That's not an option. So it's just an automatic instinct that he knows how that the boat's gonna react.
Yeah, because you got to feel it, but to get that feeling, it took about a year.
Yeah,
it really did. Yeah. Anyway, peace out again. Thank you guys so much for watching. We surely can't do this channel without you guys. Patreons, thank you. Make sure you hit that super thanks, Chief. We haven't seen those in a long time. I haven't been asking for them, so anyway. We appreciate it. Anyway, Chief had a TikTok video too, real quick. Went to like 60,000.
Yeah, first one. I was so excited. I'm calling these guys every 5 minutes. We got another 1,000.
Anyway, peace out. Thanks again.
Hey,
appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.